Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to your Steel Syndicate podcast with me, your host, Britsburgh, Owen, and today joined from down under, my Wallaby brother from another mother. I think that was right. Steelers Nation Oz, Mark. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Like in reality, what do we have? Two more days to another game. Steelers versus Jacksonville Jaguars and Daredevils there too. So I'm pretty keen, man. Um, like I know I just woke up, but there are some big things happening in the Steelers, like Pittsburgh Steelers universe here too. Because I reckon I reckon this season's already started. I know it's preseason, but this feels different to how it used to feel with Big Ben. And to me, this season is underway.
Yeah, 100%
Like there
underway.
are so many things happening now with players. We just got Master Teague. I saw just got waived for injury, and now we brought in another guy. So that kind of sucks.
Oh yeah, I saw that, but again, it was another Google candidate, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like it's kind of like you attach yourself to these players. Like Master Teague had a good few runs. You're like, oh, he might have a chance. And next minute he gets injured, and now he's waived. So I don't know if he'll come back. But that's all part of the training camp and the cutting of roster, like from 90 to 85 now. A few guards got let go.
Yeah,
The punter got let go. So it's like everything's happening. But I think right now, like this is like, who's going to be QB1, and we'll talk about that today. But to me, the season it started last week. That was one of the best games I've seen in a long time. It was a preseason game.
I know. And it was the most viewed preseason game apparently ever.
Since I heard it was since 2015, but
Yeah,
I would
2015, yeah.
imagine ever as well.
Yeah,
It was so intriguing that the last half was pretty fun to watch with Kenny Pickett and the touchdown for
absolutely.
the win. But this is a different year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We haven't seen a good defense just yet, and we'll talk about that too.
Mhm.
But to me, yeah, man, this is like next week versus Jags. It's game on. Like I want to see who's going to win. Who's going to win the quarterback competition.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned there obviously the players that were released this week. Obviously, Carl Joseph and Anthony Miller, which is a bit of a shame. I would have
Another
liked to see
another two,
Anthony Miller.
yeah. That's crazy, man. Another two guys that could have made the roster,
I mean,
maybe.
Anthony Miller for me is a big one there. I'd love to have seen Anthony Miller play a
Yeah.
part in this season, given obviously the fact that the guy worked with Mitch Trubisky in Chicago and did well. I mean, the other four players that were released apparently were Doug Costin, that was the guy we got from the USFL,
Mhm.
Jake Dixon, who was an offensive tackle, which is a bit of a surprise. I thought him or Tucker actually stood a chance. Chris Owens, who was the center out of Alabama. And you said the punter, Cameron. I'm about to absolutely massacre this guy's name. Nizalek, was it?
You know what though? I should have made a video about this, so I guess I was right on the internet. But in my mind, I was right anyway. I thought they were going to release the punter because I think they did by not playing Harvin. You have to play him two more games before the season, right? So
Yeah.
I thought he was a given. I would say that the Nick Skiba will be released after this game too. I think you have to. I think they will release him unless they play him all two preseason games. But I can see Boswell playing the last one just to go up there and kick and warm up,
Mm.
right? I don't know what your thoughts are. Are they going to release Skiba after this game?
Yeah, they will. I mean, I think it'll be after this game. I can't remember what happened last year with that other guy. I can't even remember the guy's name now. But Sloman, wasn't it? Nick Sloman or something like that? The guy
No
was called.
idea. No
Yeah, so
idea, to be honest.
I can't remember whether he played, but then again, it was different last year because obviously we had 4 preseason games because we had the Hall of Fame game. But yeah, I think Skiba will be released after this game. I don't think they'll play Boz or risk Boz on against the Jaguars. I think he will play against the Lions. But
Yeah,
yeah,
play him at
Skiba will
home
go.
and get him. Yeah, play him at home, get him ready, and you go out there and maybe make a few kicks on kickoff, and just don't get injured, and a few field goals, and then go home. And next week it's the Bengals, right? So yeah, I think that cut was going to happen regardless. The punter.
I personally think though Skiba is someone who has a decent chance of making it with another team in the NFL. I did actually like him. I did think he was. I think he's just very unfortunate that he's come to a team that have
Oh
such an
yeah.
outstanding kicker.
You can't. If you beat out Boswell, then you're an all-pro kicker. You're not
Yeah.
gonna beat out Boswell. I'm sorry, you're
And
not.
It's like almost, going as a UDFA quarterback to the Kansas City Chiefs, isn't it? You're just like, oh, for God's sake, Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
Just forget it.
it's good experience, but also it also shows other teams that you can keep up. So
Yeah.
I thought he did a pretty good job as well. And kickers a few years ago they missed like what was it 14 extra points in the first week or something. So there's the kickers we have one of the greatest kickers I think for the Steelers.
Yeah.
So let's think about that. When we people start to put some talk on us, we're like, well, we have Chris Boswell, who's a 89% kicker.
If you take out the 2018 season, he is as statistically as good as Justin Tucker.
He's right up there, man. He's right up there. So, but we are always under the radar with Boswell and a lot of other things right now. So I'm kind of happy he's like second,
Yeah, absolutely. George Teston joined us in the live chat here. Hey, everyone, late. Did I miss anything? No, George, we just started. Now, Daredevil asks an interesting question, which actually links into what we're going to talk about, Mark, doesn't it? Can't wait to see if Pickett can produce with the second team, like Tomlin said, more varsity play. Another Tomlinism. He loves that, doesn't he, Mike Tomlin? His varsity and his junior varsity, Mark, doesn't he?
I honestly don't know what that means. I am so confused about redshirt freshman year. I really don't understand. Like, I'm from Australia. I don't know. Like,
yeah, we don't have that in England.
What's varsity? Varsity is like your first year of college.
I think varsity is like the best, and then junior varsity is like the standard below. That's an English perspective on it. I mean, that might be completely wrong. I don't know.
Oh, man, the college terms really stuff with me because I'm like, I always used to watch the college on Saturday or Sunday football for me. And you'd hear the announcer say, he's a true redshirt freshman about 80,000 times. And it used to piss me off because I didn't know what it was. I still don't know what it is. Like, what's a redshirt freshman?
Do you know what it is, Mark? Do you know what it is? It's two, in the case of us and America and you in America, it's two nations separated by one common language, mate. It's a different language. Guys, live chat. If any of you Americans can explain to us what they call heathens in England and in Australia, what is a redshirt freshman?
It's something like that. It's like, it's like a freshman, I guess, is the guy first year of college. But if he's a red shirt, does that mean he's off the practice squad? I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it is. But the announcers, whatever the rarity is of it, they would overuse it like a million times, and it just started to really piss me off. I was like, but I don't understand any of that stuff. College, because we call our college university.
So
you go to university for like 4 years.
Yeah.
And you have like year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, then you post-grad, right?
Yeah.
But over there in America, and I guess it's kind of fun too, because we don't really talk about the difference between Australia, America, and England. But over there, it's like college and you have sophomore year. I just don't understand. I don't understand it.
Well, over here, if you go to college over here, that's before you go to university. So that's like, it goes like secondary school or high school. Then you go to college, and then you go to university in this country. So a bit different.
We have college here, but we have like, I think called TAFE or tech, where it's more for like a trade school, you know, but that's like, we call it TAFE, TAFE, but it's just very interesting how it works. So, but you know what I do like about the university over there? They're so massive. Like, it's like its whole like country, some of these places.
Here you go. Here's an answer for you. George Teston, the redshirt freshman is the freshman that sits out the year.
I still don't understand it. Mate, so I guess he sits out a year.
Some more. Redshirt freshman is your with the team for a year, play 4 or less games, still can get redshirted and get the year of eligibility.
Wait, that doesn't help.
We're gonna have to go and do some extra study, I think. We're like proper Bethel.
Thanks, Tom, man, but that doesn't help.
Mark, let's talk about something we do know, right? Something we do know. Okay,
let's go.
Mark, is this really the only quarterback competition we now have in Pittsburgh for the QB2 slot? What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think all three's up for grabs. And the reality is, look, I don't think it really matters about. Say, for instance, if Trubisky starts week 1, there's still going to be competition, right, for the rest of the year. Should it not? Trubisky starts week 1, which I think is going to happen anyway, regardless. I think it will. And say for instance, that Kenny Pickett's playing better in practice or getting better reps. He's quarterback 2. Maybe Mason's there, Mason's not there. If the Steelers are winning, like we're winning, like 4-2, would you change Trubisky? Probably not. If he's playing a bit average, maybe you bring in a spark to get Kenny going. Maybe you do what was it the Niners did a few years, 2 years ago or whatever. They brought in Trey Lance every now and then. Let's see, man. There's a whole new idea for the Steelers to do this, but I think it's competition throughout the whole year, to be honest. It's not just competition because of training camps here and they're going to decide who's what. Competition is going to bleed throughout the whole year from game 1 to game 17 to the post game. But I will be excited to know who's going to be our quarterback so we can move on and finally figure out the depth and maybe figure out Tomlin's thoughts a bit more. But in reality, no one really knows what Tomlin is thinking because he's such a wordsmith.
Yeah, although I did hear DK, Dejan Kovacevic this morning on Daily Shot of Steelers talking about the fact that he felt that Tomlin had probably been more open than he'd ever been before around this QB competition, and he hadn't been as sort of cloak and dagger about it. Would you agree with that, Mark?
He kind of has to, though, to a certain degree, because it is so new. Like in past before, it was like, well, it's this Big Ben playing quarterback number 1, who's going to be 2. And he could be sneaky about the number 2 position because it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah.
But now it kind of does matter to find out, But I think honestly, if I were to give a percentage of who's going to be quarterback number 1, I would probably say like 85% Trubisky. I would be shocked if it was Kenny Pickett. Now, I don't mind if it's Kenny Pickett. I don't think it's going to be Rudolph, to be honest. But there's nothing wrong with the quarterback play we have right now. It's actually it's a good amount of respect to the team, what is happening. Our offseason is so good. So let's see what you know what? If they struggle this week, which I don't think they will, Jags are an easy team. They're an easier team than the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
It's
crazy.
Jay Glazer had some interesting things to say yesterday at Steelers training camp. He put a video out there. Jay Glazer, for those of you who don't know, is an ESPN analyst and an NFL insider who is apparently a good friend of Mike Tomlin's and has Mike Tom. He is apparently Mike Tomlin does whisper in his ear every so often, apparently. Now, Jay Glazer said that this will be Mitch Trubisky's team. When you talk to people around here, they have so much confidence in him. And I think that's one of the things that, Mitch has got beaten up in his career. So to have a guy now where they fill his confidence up, they certainly think they can win with Mitch Trubisky this year. So I think there is obviously that air of confidence in Mitch this year because people have actually got some confidence in him. And I think that helps. Do you think he got a bad press at the start because of his time in Chicago, Mark?
Well, definitely, because I was on the, I didn't like the pick or the trade or the free agent. I didn't like the pickup at all. I thought Trubisky was a bit of a, average quarterback. But throughout the process and him buying in the interviews, when he went and held the camp and rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. But when he went and held the camp, everyone came, right? He's come into the Steelers locker room with a bit of vengeance and a bit of might about him, So, and he's shown that in training camp, and he's shown that in the preseason game versus Seahawks, where he went the first drive. Like, honestly, this offense looks better than it did last year.
100%.
So, because I watched the game the other day, Steelers versus Browns, Big Ben's last game. Big Ben struggled, man. Like, he was running on his back foot. He was getting just all kinds of play was terrible, right? But Trubisky can go down the field and lead for a touchdown. What more do you want?
I know. It was so refreshing, I think, to see on Saturday, when you had Mitch Trubisky in there and Kenny Pickett in there, 2 quarterbacks who were using their legs to extend plays, to give receivers more time to get separation, receivers more time to get downfield, something they didn't have last year, where it was a case of snap, throw, wasn't it? Or snap and hand off. And that was it.
Pretty much, man. Pretty much, like when I saw the game, I watched about half of it. Was Steelers versus Browns and Big Ben's last game. It was pretty much like that. It was snap, throw to the outside, catch. He's already, there was no ad-lib play. At least having Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, there's ad-lib play. And I think this offense will be better. Like, that's why the game was fun, man. That's why the game was fun, right? It was the most viewed game since 2015. As a Steelers fan, I love Big Ben, but maybe he should have retired at 2019. I'm just saying, like, this team feels different. And if we go into Jacksonville and win that game, I think it does mean something. I think if we put on a good performance again, defense shows out, and Pickett throws TD, Trubisky TD. It was good to see 7-0, right?
Yeah.
Was it not?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so refreshing, like I said, to see as well. That touchdown, I was almost in shock, came with Mitch Trubisky rolling out to his left, buying time and waiting for Olszewski to make his cut to get free and to get open in the corner of the end zone. Something that wouldn't have happened last year. It would have been a case of the ball would have come, Ben would have looked over the middle to, or not over the middle, out wide to somebody, the closest player he could get it to, probably DJ, if obviously DJ had been on the field, and that would have been it. He definitely would not have done that last year. I mean, yeah, he could do that at the start of his career, but by the end of his career, you're right, Mark. You know, he didn't have that mobility, and yeah, he probably should have retired in 2019 when his elbow blew up.
And that pass too is still pretty hard as well. Just because it's wide open, it's still a hard pass to do. You're rolling to your left. You go into the corner of the end zone. A lot of pressure because you don't want to stuff up.
Yeah.
Like in any situation like that, you know the guy, it's going to be a TD. And a lot of pressure too on Gunner as well. No one around you. You got to make the catch. How many times in the NFL we've seen someone drop that pass? So that, to me, seeing them going 7-0 and then 14-0 was fantastic. Fantastic. It's a whole new team.
Absolutely. And do you think this preseason, in terms of the games and the results, means more because of one thing, and that's all the change we've had as a franchise? Whereas in last few years, we knew what we had, and we knew that Ben would come along and save the day at the end of the day.
Look, a lot of people will say, you know what, you got to go out there and win, postseason games, this and that, right? But at the same time, you got to shake off what you have, the losing feeling. We have a losing feeling right now, or we did until this, new, I guess, respect that is happening with the Steelers, and because it does feel different, and we got torched by the Chiefs, and the similar pattern: go to the playoffs, lose. But now the team's happier. I think Cam's happier, Coach Tomlin's happier. The receivers look happier. They're getting emotion, getting the football, because we all knew it was Big Ben's team, and Big Ben's ego controlled that team. And now it's like, yeah, man, it's like it's just Kenny Pickett can go out there and throw 2 touchdowns and go 96 yards, and Trubisky comes in and starts playing. I think we can shock the world versus the Bengals, but I think if we get a win against the Jaguars, I think it's going to help us out even more. Come back home to Detroit, maybe get another win there. That's 3 in a row. And then you got all that confidence behind you to say you can do it. I think we're a team now. Some teams don't need preseason wins, right? The Chiefs don't need it. The Packers don't need it. Cowboys never play hard. Ravens always play hard in any situation. For the Steelers this year, I think we needed this one win, and maybe 2 or 3 if we get it, would build confidence in the locker room for the young guys to go out there and say, we're not a bad team. All right, we're not a bad team.
100%. And I think, it does matter. It does really matter because of the fact that we have got so many new players coming in. We've got new coaches trying to bed in as well this preseason. And let's face it, winning is a habit, isn't it? And it's a good habit to get into. And if you can get into the habit of coming in having won 3 preseason games, especially as a team that is trying to gel and trying to find its identity, and an offense that is trying to find its identity, realistically, this is the first real year of the Matt Canada system, isn't it? So it's the real first year.
It looks good too.
It did. Although, did you hear what Matt Canada said after the game when he was asked about how much new plays were on display on Saturday?
No, not really. No,
he said basically that it was just the same plays as last year.
It looks different. My, looks, even the motion looked different. Even motioning Haywood and who was out there? Was it Raider? Yeah, Raider was out there.
Yeah.
Even that looked different too. And we're still going to get back Najee, Fryermuth, Gentry's out there too. Like, just everything. I don't think we got any there was no pre-snap penalties, right? Was there not?
No, there was none.
No, there was none like that. I don't know, dude. I kind of want the game to happen today.
Yeah.
Because, look, there is now an expectation. So if they go really bad, then we're going to weigh up the first game to the other game. But in reality, the offense looks more efficient, smooth. And for how many years, or 3 or 4, maybe 3 years in a row, we kind of knew the Steelers were going to come out 0-3, right?
Yeah.
Every time. Even if you didn't want to know it, you still knew it was going to happen. And the Big Ben's philosophy was pretty much like, oh, I'll come back and win it in the fourth quarter. How about no? How about we go and win it in the first and second and third?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think Matt Canada knows what he's got in some mobile quarterbacks. It's a good problem to have with the quarterback being Trubisky or Pickett. Imagine, okay, look, I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
Look, if we have, how happy are you having two successful quarterbacks throughout this preseason? It's going to be Pickett and Trubisky.
Oh,
Nothing
yeah.
wrong with that.
Really happy about it. Really happy about it because, I mean, how much in the past have we ever watched? We've watched Steelers preseason games, haven't we? And we've watched, obviously quarterback, obviously Ben play, and it'd be great, and they play really well. And then you bring on the likes of Mason or Landry Jones, and it's just like, what am I even still staying up watching this for? It's awful.
And Mason does look a bit slower, but still he played okay.
Yeah.
But if this whole preseason, if we get about two quarterbacks out of this, with Trubisky starting and Pickett being behind that, and I think we might even get a chance. Are we going to see Chris Oladuke in this game as well?
No.
No, he's not playing.
I know he got some reps apparently at practice yesterday, but from what Tomlin was saying today, Tomlin said that basically that Mitch will start, that Kenny will play second, and then Mason will finish the game, and that's pretty much what he said. That's what he said. So yeah, I don't think we'll see Oladuke again. I think he's basically going to be a practice squad body, unless, of course, they trade Mason Rudolph. Do you feel sorry for Mason at all? That he's had this expectation that he was going to have the chance to compete for this QB1 job, and realistically, he's never really had that chance. I mean, he said today that. Obviously, I would have liked to have had more first team reps. I think you've seen how practices have gone. I've made the most of the reps I've gotten. I thought I've performed well in this camp and want to continue to do so individually.
I don't feel sorry for him. But I think he's played better than he has played last year. Even in that preseason game, I think he led like a 12-play, 13-play drive, and then got the field goal. He did make a big pass to George Pickens. He looks better. Right, but I don't feel overly sorry. I think there's to a certain point where, I guess that maybe it's kind of true to a certain extent, because if you're not getting the reps, how do you show how good you are?
Yeah.
Right. So maybe he means that way, but he shouldn't feel any sorrow on himself either. It's a business, right? If you wouldn't be in this position if you were fantastic and you were like Josh Allen, the reason why you are like this is because you're 9-8. Like I don't hate the guy or think he's a bad quarterback, but I think he's a good to okay quarterback. And I think if he's going to be a backup with the Steelers, that's fantastic, because I think this is the best problem. The best problem to have is all three right now.
Yeah.
And bringing in Trubisky really has lit a fire under Rudolph. I'm not saying he's going to start. I don't know how many people think he's going to start because we have Trubisky, but it's all even. That's right. Mason is in a great position. Trubisky gets hurt, Mason is next. I would probably agree with that too, actually. Like I think he can be a backup, but yeah, I don't feel sorry for him. I don't know. I think it's just part of the business, right? If you're a Pittsburgh Steelers, it's part of it.
Do you think? I think the Steelers have made it pretty clear this week that they see Kenny as possibly been the number 2, given the fact that Mason has played virtually all week with the 3s and Kenny's worked with the 2s and the 1s. I think. Yeah, I don't think Mason had a bad game, but there was a very interesting comment made by I think again it was either Dale Lolly or Dejan Kovacevic who are really good on when they talk about the Steelers, and they said that Mason ran a very, as you said, a very that drive where he
was pretty good. It wasn't bad,
but it said it showed up bad old Mason, didn't it? The fact that we got in the red zone and again we couldn't punch the ball in. And that's the one thing that continues to let him down. And I think it was Dejan Kovacevic was saying, until Mason Rudolph can sort out that part of his game, he's never going to be a QB1.
And Kenny Pickett got the TD. Kenny Pickett got the 2-point conversion. Kenny Pickett got the last TD as well. Yeah. So, I don't feel sorry for the guy because it's all competition, right? I think may the best man win, no matter what. May the best man win. And to me right now, that is Trubisky. And Pickett is very close, but same time he's a rookie, so let's see what can happen.
Definitely. So let's move on, Mark. Shall we talk about something else? Let's talk about the defense, shall we?
Oh
Mark,
boy.
oh boy, let's talk about this, shall we? Let's talk about the inside linebackers, the question, the
Oh my.
concern. First of all, Mark, I want to get your take on what Devin Bush said the other day.
It's oh man, where do I even start? It's pretty. Where's the enthusiasm? First of all, actually, too, when you're talking, if I did this, Owen, if I was over here, what would you think?
You're not interested. You're not bothered. You can't
Yeah.
be. You can't be. I was going to use
Why?
another word.
If I'm talking over here and you're asking me a question and I'm looking down, what the body language does not make any sense, right?
No, exactly. Yeah.
Come on, man, you got to be engaged. And think back to all the linebackers in history, and I'll go back to like Farrier, Timmons, those guys, Larry Foote, Shazier. They wanted to be a Steeler, and at some point, you have to have that want and drive to be a football player. Not that you can, but the want and drive to do so. And he doesn't show that. He's showing that more and more. The more and more I see, even was it last year? I forgot about this. I saw a video the other day. Someone brought up. It was like Devin Bush didn't even know who was playing, and it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you remember that last year?
Yeah, he didn't.
I forgot about that. I forgot. I was like, he didn't even know who was playing. They asked him a question, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not even sure who we're playing." How do you not know that week who you're not playing? So he's not engaged, man. And I would rather 0% skill, more heart than anything else. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's to the point. Do you want to be a Steeler? Do you want to be a football player? Not that you can.
I know it was really disappointing. As I said in the videos that I did on, I think it was either on this channel or on my own other channel, Britsburgh Going. If you go back across my podcast, go back across my videos, and as well, I've stuck up for Devin Bush. I've stood up for this guy and spoken up for this guy so much over the last season and said, look, we've got to give him time. We've got to give him time. And, he's come back from a nasty injury, etc., etc. And then he goes and I was fuming when you say something stupid like, oh, doesn't really matter, I'll still be in the NFL. What message does that send to the fans? And I tell you what, it's good for him that the game's not at Acrisure Stadium this weekend, because I'm sure that if it was at Acrisure, he would hear some comments from those stands.
If he doesn't show up this week, there is going to be a huge concern at middle linebacker, and he's doing himself no favors to get another contract next year. The thing is, do you want to be a football player? This is still, I get you're skillful, but at the same time, are you skillful? Because you've just been lackluster last year. But I wish him more luck. I just want him to get his head right. Just get your head right and go play football. Go play how you played, before the injury was fantastic. There's a reason why the Steelers, drafted up there to get top 10 and to go and get you. You had that fight, that courage about you, that don't mess with me attitude. Now it's, you don't want to be even engaged in the media. It's like literally 5 minutes of a time. You can't make up an answer. If I'm not feeling it right, if I'm not feeling it, and you ask me a question, I will make up an answer. I will make up a positive answer. You can't do that. Nah, there's something going on. He's not switched on, man. He doesn't want to be part of the program, and he doesn't want to be part of the program. Then we cut him, or we put someone else in there who can. Now that's the next problem is probably who do we put in there, because I don't know.
That's what I was going to get to, Mark. That's the other issue that really worries me. Miles Jack, I thought looked fabulous on Saturday. I thought he looked really good. He stuffed the run. I rewatched some of that first quarter the other day, and the run defense looked a whole lot better. And it wasn't it wasn't even our first choice defensive line. But if you look at a lot of who was stopping the run, who was stopping that running back at the line of scrimmage, it was Miles Jack. He was there. He was hitting him. He was taking him down, wrapping him up, and that was it. Done. The moment Jack went off, it was just another story. Robert Spillane was beaten in coverage so many times, and he's not a run stuffer. That is just one thing he doesn't do. Buddy Johnson lost. I know he's only in his second year, so that's putting a lot on him to come in and play, and the fact that he wasn't a high-round pick. Mark Robinson's had 1 year at linebacker, and that's it. Then who are you left with? And you're left with what? Marcus Allen? Marcus Allen's not a linebacker.
These guys, he's not either. They don't seem very interested. I think Devin Bush at some stage needs to take some responsibility. And there's a reason why that the Steelers went and got Miles Jack to take over. So when does the real linebacker please stand up? Like, I just think the ego, like I know what's getting funny about the NFL, man. I think you know this too. They get paid so much money, like ridiculous amount of money to play a game called football. We get it, injuries, stuff like that. But at the same time, they get given so much cash. Ego goes to your head. Do you want to go out there and give it your all? You ever have, some players play for the love of football. Some players play for the money. Some players play for pride. So when it comes down to it, what are they playing for? Like I think TJ Watt, he plays for pride and because he loves football and he wants to be the best. And the money's just there. The money's sitting there and you get all the money. Fine. For Devin Bush, oh, I'll be there next year. Will you though? Will you be there next year?
Yeah. And
Come
he's
on,
not
man.
gonna...
It really pissed off. Sorry, it really pissed off the whole Steeler Nation. Come on, man.
Oh yeah.
Like to a certain degree, we go out there and buy everything. We actually buy into the organization. And if you're representing that organization, we do have some say. Now we don't control the stocks or whatever or the team, but we buy everything. We buy your jersey, we buy, coolers, we buy footballs. And you feed us back that information. You can't be on camera for 5 minutes and say you're so excited to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I'm really trying my hardest to go out there and give it my all. I know I was bad last. You can't do that. Come on, man.
I know, and he really did let himself down. As George Teston says in the live chat, he says here his comments were very disturbing to me, and I think George is reflective of a lot of Steeler Nation. They were disturbed by those comments. Reginald Rivers goes as far as to say, "I really hope they can trade Bush." Do you think that's a possibility, or I think that's a no-go now, given the state of the season?
Well, it's hard because would you offer your friend bad food? Hey, man, I don't like this. Do you want this? Well, why don't you like it? Oh, because it's awful. Do you want it? That we have a saying here. We do that in Australia all the time. But if he's not happy, it happens all the time. Though there's so much drama now with the NFL. It's so different. Players get fed up with their organization and want to go somewhere else, and they get fed up there. At some point, is it the organization or is it the person? If Devin Bush goes somewhere else, will he be happy there too? Right? It happened with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell, we're going to give him a great, good to great contract. Could have been a Steeler. Could have finished his career. And everything fell apart. So I just hope they sort it out. I hope he just wants to play football.
Do you think that going into this game against Jacksonville, that's the biggest question they've now got to answer on the defense?
It does feel like that. The middle linebacker it's Miles Jack and who? Who?
Yeah.
Like it's not Marcus Allen. It's not going to be him. Spillane, I think he maybe. But can Spillane be your answer the whole year? No. I don't know. I don't think so. Right? He's back up at best. Now, Mark Robinson is not going to be starting next to him, even though he made the big play. And Devin Bush doesn't want to play. So is there a chance? Well, do we go and sell it all because this what the year we could have and go and get is it Roquan from the Bears?
Smith, yeah, from the Bears.
Right? Is that a chance you go and do that? Get a guy that's fiery and wants to play football? Maybe. Because the rest of the best part of the defense I like so far is our D line, is the rotation. The first three guys and Wormley and Loudermilk and Leal and those guys behind them. The D line rotation is going to be fantastic this year if they're all healthy. I reckon.
Yeah. Well, I listening to what was coming out of training camp today, Mark, about the whole the D line thing about Ogunjobi and those guys. Ogunjobi absolutely ripping to pieces our offensive line, just absolutely smashing it up, taking on two people at a time and just beating them. So yeah, the D line is looking good. But as I heard a saying that as go the inside linebackers for the Steelers, as goes the Steelers defense. And you look at the times we've won Super Bowls, we've had great inside linebacker pairings, the likes of Larry Foote and James Farrier, I think it was in the last Super Bowl win. Some of the players that we've had play there have just been phenomenal when we've won Super Bowls. And I'm not saying for a minute that we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Yes, it would be lovely to get the 7th Lombardi, but realistically, is it going to happen? I don't know. But I still think there needs to become a solution at this inside linebacker position.
Well, look at the guy like the underrated Lawrence Timmons. He's one of my favorites. He's my top 5. I need to buy that guy's jersey. Lawrence Timmons is one of my favorites to play the game. He did not care about his body. He understood the game. He chased down quarterbacks. He understood the run. He was all over the shop. He was making tackles. He was making interceptions. He was just switched on. He was communicating with his team. And number 94 was one of the greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest middle linebackers to play. Now, I'm only going back a few years, but I still stand by that, right? And you think look back at the history and Jack Ham and all those dudes, right? I can't forget his name. Who's the guy with the? I can't remember his name. Who's the other guy? The other old fella.
Jack Lambert.
Lambert, yeah, that guy with the teeth missing and stuff like that. Where's that? Where's that passion? Like, honestly, we only asked for a little bit. Like, we only asked for like 4 months of the year to go out there and just show us everything. And he's showing us absolutely nothing. 0 tackles, 0 commitment. Doesn't want to be a Steeler. It's time to go. See you later, Bush. I'm sorry, mate. Get someone else in there who wants to be a player. Now, if he comes out and switches around, fantastic. Fantastic. Get back on board. But right now, I don't think anyone's buying Devin Bush jerseys. You know what I'm saying? Are they?
No, they're not. And if you've got one, you'd be worried about its longevity.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's been some. I think to be honest with you, even the Steelers coaches are starting to lose faith in both Spillane and Bush, which is worrying. I mean, Terrell Austin said as well. He said sometimes as coaches we like guys that know their assignments to do their assignments, but they never make a play. The whole deal is being able to do your assignments and make a play, and that is really what we're looking for from Devin. And it's interesting that he's actually named Devin Bush in that. From what he said.
That's pretty much hit the nail on the head. He's telling him, like, we know you're missing your assignment, mate. Something's up. Like, we know that. So I love that. I think they need to be held accountable. I think if you want to play this game and you want to be known as the best, go and be the best. You know what I mean? It's there, but it comes to a point where those answers are giving you a snippet or an insight of how it's feeling in the locker room. You know what I mean? Like saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It's a business. I'll be here next year. I'll be somewhere in the NFL. I don't think you will. Not with that attitude.
Would you look at changing the defensive setup if it is the fact that we don't manage to get hold of an inside linebacker between now and the start of the season and none of these guys step it up, that we go to a 4-3, or that they do what they were doing in training the other day? Apparently, they were using 1 inside linebacker and 3 safeties.
I kind of like that because then that's going to use more of like Kazi in the role too.
Yeah.
And who else would be in there? I guess Trey Norwood might be in there too.
Patrick.
Yeah, so that you can use 3 of those blokes and Trey Norwood would come in too. I kind of like that. I don't think you need to change. You don't change your whole scheme for one player. You know what I mean? I think the one player, Devin Bush, he doesn't want to play. You go out there and you get someone else, in my opinion, who wants to play. But I don't mind seeing that. I think change is good. I think defensively, we go on a week 1 versus the Bengals, right? I think change is going to be exciting to try and freak them out because then you can match up against their 3 receivers. Yeah. And Miles Jack is quite versatile he could probably man the whole field that way. So and if our D line is that strong at the middle, maybe we don't need 2 middle linebackers in those kind of rotations as well. So I'm excited to see what happens. I feel bad. Who got the Reginald Rivers got a Bush jersey? Yeah, look, man, it's tough. If they give up, I've got an AB one. I hate that too. AB's crazy. I've never seen
Michael O'Malley agrees with you, Mark. Look, here you go.
I've got one. I'm looking at it right now in my closet. I have AB black and gold, and that's one thing that's what I'm saying. As fans, we buy into the organization so much. We do have an opinion. Everyone on this chat has an opinion. And when a player like Devin Bush says, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll be somewhere else next year, or I might be somewhere else, don't say that. Well, you're affecting your brand. There's no way he's going to come on the Steel Sinker podcast now, but I don't care because at the end of the day, I'm a man, he's a man, you're a man. We're all men, right? You jog on, you move on. But it's like, go and play football.
Exactly. Do your assignments.
You're getting paid this much money, and you're at some point you had worked hard to get there. But now the responsibility is on your shoulders. Go and play football. That's what you're paid to do. That's what you're meant to do. And Najee is the best example. Najee is a larrikin. However, he gets it. He stayed back an hour the other day to run up a hill. You know what I mean? He didn't need to do that. Come on, man. This is something where Cameron Hayward and these guys are like, well, what's the point? What is the point of like putting Devin Bush in that middle linebacker spot if you're not going to do anything on the field? There's only 11 players on the field. We need all 11 to have a chance. And you're representing the whole of Steeler Nation. And this probably pissed off so many people.
100%. And I think going to that 3 safety set would be useful as well because it would help them bring up Terrell Edmonds into the box, which, as we know, Terrell Edmonds is fantastic at tracking the running back. He's also brilliant at tracking the tight ends. I mean, the guy owns Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews lives in Terrell Edmonds' back pocket in a Ravens game.
Yeah, and Terrell Evans is playing well, and he kind of keeps out of the media lightly. I haven't heard anything bad about him. You heard nothing bad about Minka. You know, they're the ones that are the true leaders on this team. But like I said before, DeMonte Kazi played really well in the spurts where they were missing tackles in the middle of the field. I thought Trey Norwood played really well last week. I thought the defensive line played well. DeMarvin Leal, first rush, almost got a sack. There are guys out there trying to compete. And if you have one weak link, it leaves a massive hole in the defense.
100%.
And it's going to be Devin Bush there. So if you have the weak link being Devin Bush, where you have to now go his side or figure him out, or if he's not switched on here, right, it's a big problem, and we can lose many games like this. So we'll see, and hopefully, and you know what, as a person, maybe it might be hard for him to like. It would be tough to hear all this negativity, right? I wouldn't know how to respond to it. If a million people said my podcasting skills were terrible. Now I get a few of those, but I don't get a million. I might get 5. But I don't know. It's just go out there and play. Head down, bum up, make a tackle. Tell us why we're wrong, basically.
Show us, Kevin.
Yeah.
Go out there and prove everyone wrong now. Bulletin board material, you're getting absolutely slaughtered. Go out there Saturday and prove
big time
that we're all wrong.
Big time. Next week we'll go, wow, did you see Devin Bush make that play, the fumble? He read that pass play recognition. He read the screen. He intercepted this. He made a play. He's just going through the motions and not doing anything. I haven't seen him do anything extra at all. He's not putting his hands up. He's late to the ball. He's slow to the ball. He's hesitant on his feet. He got beat by he over pursued and then got beat by that run and just didn't tackle.
Yeah, and it was, to me, it looked like Devin Bush of 2021 all over again. No matter despite what he was saying,
nothing changed at all.
So obviously we're getting a bit long in the tooth now, Mark. Let's go on to our final bit of our pre-game, well, not pre-game, but our sort of preview here. Mark, score predictions for the game on Saturday. Live chat. I want you to, as well, those of you in the live chat, put your score predictions in as well. I want to know what some score predictions are. My score prediction, I'll give you mine first, give you a bit of time to think, Mark, is I think it's going to be 38-10. I think they'll get a touchdown at the end in junk time when it doesn't matter, when our top defense has gone off. But I think it'll be 38-10 to the Steelers on Saturday.
Well, I was actually had a podcast with State of the Steelers too the other day, and I've forgotten what I said, but I think I said on his show, I think I said 27-13. If this defense throughout the first quarter and second quarter, I think Trevor Lawrence won't score a touchdown. I don't think he's good enough. Not yet, anyway. And I think that if the defense shows up, they'll do 3 and out, and he'll go off the field and might get a field goal. That's about it. I think if our team's hungry enough, like Warren, McFarland, they will put themselves in a position where you might see a running touchdown this week too. You might see a kickoff return. I think Steven Sims is probably going to take one. If he takes one to the house or close, I reckon 27-13 is my prediction.
Okay, so we've got some predictions in the live chat, Mark. So let's start with Reginald Rivers. Reginald says 31-21 Steelers.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's all high, right? It's all high scoring because, of course, you have Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Rudolph playing well. So there's points on the board. And they scored 4 touchdowns, So I agree with that.
Michael O'Malley, 36-13. That'd be a good game to watch.
Is that same as yours?
38-10 I went for.
Okay. So it's a mix with mine. What did I say? 27-13.
George Testing, 31-10.
And look, all these fellas I respect because they're pretty much saying the Jags can't score points. I'm sorry. The last week was they played 2? Yeah, they played 2 preseason games because the Hall of Fame game too. They looked awful. They looked terrible.
Here you go. Daredevil says this.
Every time I predict the score, we lose. Never again. Wow. Okay. Oh, that's amazing.
I wouldn't put the evil on us, lol. I mean, that is one of the biggest things for me, Mark, and it's encouraging. I think we are now seeing people more confident the Steelers' offense are going to score points, and that is fantastic.
Yeah, big time. So I'm looking at. Let me look at the Jags QB depth. So Lawrence Taylor, Trevor Lawrence.
He'd be good.
I always say that, by the way. Always say that. So he's going to be a quarterback for what? Maybe 2 quarters. And if they hold him, if that defense can treat it like a real game and not let him score, because I don't think the Jags will beat the Steelers anyway, home or away, right? Then you've got CJ Beathard, which he's isn't the best quarterback, and a rookie called EJ Perry. I have no idea who that guy is. I don't think they're going to score points. I just don't see it.
No.
I have no idea who the receivers are. Zay Jones, he's actually pretty good though. Zay Jones came from Las Vegas. He's all right.
Yeah.
They paid all the money to Christian Kirk. Will he even play? Probably not. Maybe a little bit. They're not going to score points on this defense. I don't think. And the Steelers play. Yeah, he's good, but they're not. I just don't think they're going to move the ball that much. No. If they do, then this is like the dress rehearsal game. Then we are in a bit of trouble, I think. And it depends on that middle linebacker spot. I do like what the D-line is going to do. If Cameron Hayward plays and those guys play, the ones and twos play, then that's pressure on Jags. And I think we have a better chance to get short field. Kenny Pickett the ball, Mitchell Trubisky go out there, get 7, get 14, and just go win. I think we need this win. I know it's preseason, but I think we need it. I really do.
100%. And yeah, I mean, I agree with you about their quarterback depth. I've got a mate who's a really massive Niners fan, and Beathard was Niners backup, and he played quite a lot actually a few seasons back, and he hated Beathard. He said he was absolutely awful. So he's a very, very average backup. So yeah, their quarterback room is just awful.
Same as last week with Seahawks and Geno Smith, and even today, I think Drew Lock's out because of COVID, or one of them has COVID or something. But it's like we're pretty fortunate to have Trubisky, who's playing really well, Rudolph, who can be back up, and Kenny Pickett is up on the rise. You look at this room here. Jaguars, Lawrence is still new, and their depth is a rookie that no one knows about, and Beathard. So similar game plan too, man. Go and dominate, and this should be the game for Devin Bush to go out there. If you know you're only playing 4 drives, go and excel 4 drives. You know that you're not going to play fourth quarter. What is holding you back?
Yeah. Here goes a question for you from the live chat, Mark. Question: whose jersey are you wearing Saturday? Michael says he's wearing his 1978 O'Malley #1 jersey.
Well, I've been wearing my old Christian Kuntz number 46. I used to have last year? I wore every time I wore Troy Palama jersey. But this year, I just kind of, whatever I find. I've got a Harrison. I might even wear Shazier because, Shazier, maybe get some inspiration. And even that, Devin Bush, look back to Shazier, what he did. He convinced himself to walk again. You can't even make a tackle. I'm so done. I
think I'll wear my Watt jersey again because we won last week when I was wearing my TJ Watt jersey.
Got to be careful though if you get into that though, because you'll stay in that mindset. And what if we have to wear it all the time?
You know what though, Mark? Having been a soccer fan over here, and where superstition is like that, and you wear the same things game in, game out until you lose, it is really bad. Like, as much as I love this jersey behind me here, this Freyamuth jersey, the first time I wore it, we got torched by the Chiefs, so I kind of can't wear it for a game now.
What? Nah, come on. You're gonna break that.
Yeah, Mark, long snapper jersey. That's awesome, Mark.
Hey.
Last thing, Michael O'Malley, nice. I'm not quite sure what he's saying nice about, but hey. Well, Mark, it's been fantastic talking Steelers with you. Any final thoughts about Saturday, Mark?
I'm just keen to see another game. I'm keen to see the big elephant in the room right now is who is going to be Devin Bush's replacement. Will it be him or will it be someone else? That's pretty much what I'm focusing on is middle linebacker and can Kenny Pickett, keep excelling. Those are my 2 takeaways.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I'm looking forward to seeing how Kenny does with the twos, and looking forward hopefully to see, some of the more of the ones coming back and actually playing, not obviously just not a whole game, but obviously the odd series here and there, just to see how they do. Yeah. But guys, thank you so much to all the people in the live chat tonight. So what makes these lives worthwhile is having you guys out there talking and joining in, and your comments and your questions are fantastic. And also thank you to the now 1,251 subscribers we've got on the Syndicate. Fantastic. Thank you so much to all of you out there. It really does mean a lot to Mark and I. And if you're picking up this video another time, you didn't join in on the live, thank you for that. But drop us a comment, a question, and Mark and I will get back to you as soon as we can. We love reading those comments and questions. Okay, guys, let's finish this as we always do with, here we go, Steelers. Come on.